Hi friends, today I am going to discuss 6th and 12th house axis. Now 6th and 12th house axis is the most important axis in our chart because it is talking about our prarabdha for which we are incarnated, which we have to settle in this lifetime, and about our endings and exits when we are leaving this physical world. Also, if we are going to leave this world peacefully, happily, or we will have towards the end of our life also we will not have peace. That also this axis talks about. Now 6th house is, among other things, there are many other things about 6th house, like it is of small animals, pets animals, it's of servants, it's of service to your spouse, because it is 12th from 7th house, so service to your spouse. It is also service, low class workers. It is of health and sickness. It is of stomach area, maternal family, akal mrityu, loans, diseases, also many other things. There's unlimited, the scope is unlimited. And 12th houses also have many things similar. 12th house is also about letting go. It is also about losses. It's about dhyan sadhana. It is about hospitals, diseases, death, spiritual retreats, going overseas, letting go of self, donations. So where 6th house speaks about loans, 12th house speaks about losses or gains through that loans. If 12th house is connected with good houses, that means after the donations you will have gains. After the suffering you will win. Basically, you will have happiness. If you have struggled a lot in this life, towards the end your struggle will give you good results. You will have peaceful ending. But if 12th lord is a malefic, in bad situation, that means until end of your life you have to go through this struggle. That means in previous lifetime you have done some karma which is really making this life journey as a punishment or as a karmic debts you have to settle. So that lifetime which you have incarnated just to settle difficult karmas. Now basically what 6 and 12 parivartan tells is losses through divorces, through animosities, through other legal cases, diseases. And if 6th lord goes in 12th house, so it speaks of all those losses which you have to go through due to all these things. Or you can have by doing service to others or to small animals, pets, you are going to go through losses. Now if due to these losses you will have gains, that your 12th house and its lord will tell you whether you will have gains through these such losses, and it's giving you good results. That means that in this lifetime you are supposed to serve others, and maybe your karmic debts are not so difficult. It is just taking you, like in USA they say service to community service for 4 weekends, so the crime is such that you just have to serve community. So maybe in previous lifetime your crimes are very small, your sins are so small that by serving community you will learn your lessons also, and you will serve your karmic debts also. This is one of the things. Now 6th house is 12th from 7th house, and 12th house is 6th from 7th house. So both are connected to house of marriage. The house of marriage is the center of the chart. It is our core. It is speaking of our core. So basically we all are incarnated. One main reason is to have relationship with another soul, a very personal, intimate relationship with another soul, and create a life. Now this other person will be our enemy or will be our friend, will be not only our 7th house, the 6th and 12th axis, and 7th comes in between. So 6th and 12th axis tells us a lot about that. Now 6th and 12th axis also naturally belongs to Rahu and Ketu. Though Rahu, they say Rahu does well in Gemini and Virgo. Why? I'm going to explain that to you guys. So Ketu naturally belong to Pisces. Rahu naturally belongs to Virgo. since Gemini is also sign of Mercury, so it does well in Gemini and Virgo. So Rahu is naturally, it is upajay, means here it does very well because it makes you very strong to go through any kind of struggles. In 12th house, Ketu does very well because Ketu's duty is to make you renounce everything, to make you let go of your love, of your desires, of your passion. But it is also about bad pleasure, so it will take you towards brahmacharya. So the duty of it's like Lord Buddha, who achieved everything. He had everything. He had a wife, he had a child, he was a prince, and then he had to let go everything. He wanted to let go everything, and he did it on his own choice. Nobody forced him. So basically, if you see the lifetime of every avatar also, they were not born as God. They were supreme beings. They were avatars, you know. They were very pure souls. They were evolved souls, but they become avatar, or they became one with God due to their karmas. So this 6th and 12th house axis talks about those karmas, that if we will be Shuddha Buddha Mukt towards the end of life or not. Towards endings and exits, every soul, the purpose of each incarnation is to go towards that being Shuddha Buddha Mukt. This is about that. That's why the Pisces is the sign of purity also. Now, if you really look at it, the nakshatra in Virgo, which though Virgo is the sign which represents conflicts, legal conflicts, divorce, but it has nakshatra Uttar Falguni, in which Lord Shiva got married. And it is said that it is the nakshatra of marriage, but in Kali Yuga, when people get married in Uttar Falguni also, they are getting divorced. So this is maybe will of God, or people do not have that kind of patience that they have to pull through the marriage relationship, because it is a karmic death also. You have to settle your karmas with that particular person, whether they are good karmas or they are bad karmas. You have to. But and the deity of Uttar Falguni is Ariman, which is the god of connections, contracts, legal bondings, agreements. So this is there. Now if you see in Pisces, there is Bhadrapadas. Bhadrapadas is of Chitta and burning, intense trauma, letting go, losing yourself. So the Bhadrapadas are the 4 legs of the Chitta, you know, the cremation or the pyre, basically the funeral cot. So why sages have arranged these nakshatras in such way is probably they want to teach us the moral that till death do us part, from marriage until death. This is what we are supposed to learn in this lifetime. We make our decisions ourselves, but that is not will of God. The will of God is you have to settle your karmic debts. You have to settle everything, and then only you leave this. After settling, when you leave this world, then only it is considered a full circle, a complete circle. Anyways, so if you really look at Virgo, there is one is Hasta Nakshatra, which is about health and healing. So 6th house is also of health and healing. And Chitra Nakshatra, which is again about creation. So it is about, like, this is the house. 6th house is not only about talking about good things, it is also talking about bad things. You know, it is of both. Basically, each and everything is universe is speaking of everything that is good, but it also has bad in it. There is no perfection. There is no such thing as perfect. Whatever is created by divine being, the highest eternal soul, Shiva, all that creation has to have imperfection also. What is considered good also had bad in it. What is considered as bad also has good in it. This is what it speaks of. If we talk about the Pisces sign, it has Purva Bhadrapada and Uttar Bhadrapada. Now Purva Bhadrapada is the nakshatra where one loses oneself to gain back oneself. Means the desire of the soul is to have gains through that losses, to gain back what it has lost. And Uttar Bhadrapada is the nakshatra of where one becomes like Aghori or like Narad. Like the losses is not for self gain, it is just for because one wants to lose oneself. So like if someone has Purva Bhadrapada and Uttar Bhadrapada, I always say serve Aghoris, you know, serve sadhus who are willing to, who want to let go of this universe, the original ones, not the fake ones, the original ones, who want to renounce, who are on the path of being Shuddh Buddh Mukti. So basically, if you see Purva Bhadrapada nakshatra, it is of it is talking about skull and bones. The deity is that's why I said Aghori. Lord Shiva became Aghori after Gauri's death. So the Aja Ekapada is the deity of Purva Bhadrapada, and Aja Ekapada, if we read in Shastra, is it is written, it is described as Kal Bhairav also, as Shiva also, Rudra. Basically, it is called Rudra, and also Aja Ekapada is basically one-footed goat. Means that's why it is the three gods Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh are joined at torso, and they have one leg. Means one leg means they are working together in this nakshatra. So that's why it is a very intense nakshatra. That means when a chart have these nakshatras, Purva Bhadrapadas, Uttar Bhadrapadas, Bharini, Jyeshta, they have gone through a lot in many lifetimes. They are evolved already to certain level. They are matured souls, better I should say. They are matured souls. So they are here to settle some difficult karmas, and after that they are on the path of dharma and moksha. They are already on the path of dharma. They have left behind the kama and artha and all that. They are already evolved. So though it is like the dharma, artha, kama, moksha, the series goes like that. But basically, if you really look at it, these planets, these nakshatras make a soul go through a lot difficult situation, like Bharini, Ardhara, Jyeshta, Mula, Bhadrapadas. So Aja Ekapada is basically the all three in one, Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh, and the divine God who represent this Aja Ekapada power, according to our Shastras only, the representation as a deity is Lord Jagannath in Orissa. That's why below the waist he has a stump, that is one-footed goat, and he is combination of all Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. So there is a particular way to pray to them also, because the Lord Jagannath, there are particular ways written in our Shastra. So when you have malefic planet in malefic situation in Purva Bhadrapada or Uttar Bhadrapada, there are certain prayers you have to do. And there are certain remedies you can do in your house also, so that it brings you relief. Now another thing, Ahir Budhanya. Now Ahir Budhanya is the Lord Shiva, and he is in Shastras. Ahir Budhanya is deity of Uttar Bhadrapada, and the Ahir Budhanya is they say Ahir Budhanya is Lord Shiva, who loves Lord Vishnu. And basically what they are trying to explain is Aja Ekapada is Axis Hundi, and Ahir Budhanya is the south, the bottom Hundi, so it's Rahu and Ketu. So Aja Ekapada is basically, Axis Hundi is also Rahu of planet Earth. We say it's also North Pole, the North Node, Rahu. So that is Aja Ekapada, and the bottom, the South Node, which is called Ketu, is also Ahir Budhanya. So it's also Shiva, and so they are connected. When the Shastras are saying Ahir Budhanya is Lord Shiva, who is the base Hundi, base axis, the south axis, who loves Vishnu. Basically, the connection between these two. This is the prana energy of our planet Earth. What they say, the Kundalini of planet Earth. So the Aja Ekapada also represent true north, because Rahu, the north node, is true north, and the Ahir Budhanya is south node. So it's the bottom of planet Earth. Between this is our life. Between this is everything goes on planet Earth, is between these two. So if we look at it, though it is not part of this subject, but the other day somebody told me, for normal human being, for every person, true north is not important, just magnetic north is enough. Now after listening to this, you tell me true north is important or not. If you know the true north, where true north falls in your house, magnetic north and true north have the declination of 23 or 24 degree angle. If in your house you know where true north is, how you can make your life better just by knowing this, because when you know the true north, you also know the true south, and that is the axis where all the chakras in your house have. And I'm going to make a different video where I'm going to speak about layers of Vastu. It is not just seeing north and then making a grid and that is Vastu. I see on Facebook, don't know what people are talking, I mean, sometimes I get amazed, that it is so basic, and that's why people say we don't get the result, because you're not understanding, you're not putting your chart on your house and you're not understanding. So I'm trying to explain in layers. Hopefully you like that video. When the time will come, maybe after a few days I'll make it. Now if you see Nikola Tesla's chart, Nikola Tesla chart has the nakshatras. He has Kal Sarp Dosh in his chart. He is Aquarius ascendant, and in his second house is Rahu and Jupiter, and in his 8th house is Mars and Ketu. If you see his chart, it is only talking about his incarnation in that life where he was Nikola Tesla, just to give something to the world. His soul was totally on the path of not having something for himself. He had 3 planets in Ardra. His ascendant or his Lagan Nakshatra was Purva Bhadrapada, and his Jupiter is sitting in Uttar Bhadrapada. And basically the signs which were very controlling his charts in natural Kal Purush Kundli is Gemini, 3rd sign. It's talking about strength and courage. 6th sign Virgo, Mars and Ketu there. 8th sign, Mars is 8th lord, Scorpio lord. So Mars is in 6th Virgo. So he had some strong past life karmas he had to settle in this life, and that's why Ketu is with it. And then 12th sign Pisces, where he had Rahu and Jupiter. So he was incarnated with a strong desire to give this the knowledge of lightning, the knowledge of electricity, light, to this world, which could have been with him in previous lifetime, but he didn't have the courage and strength to bring it in front of this world or to create. So in this lifetime he had no interest in Maya, illusion. He was not after wealth. We all know he gave up on so much of money. He just used to tell people not to pay him, even if it was millions during that time, but he just let go. He died pauper. He didn't care. And he was all about light, electricity and all that. So his chart is very interesting chart. If you want, if we study it for past life and his connection with aliens and the messages he used to give. If we see the charts of people like Namachun, the mathematician who got the knowledge from higher realms, Nikola Tesla, few of them we will realize that they were definitely evolved beings. They came in this world in physical body just because there was some unfinished karma. They wanted to do something important. This lifetime was definitely not for self. As I said, like Uttar Bhadrapada is about loss of self. To lose self, one want to let go of self totally, 100%, and to become one with eternal soul, which is Shiva. So his chart, if you all study, it will make you understand a lot about 6th and 12th house. Also service towards others, it tells, it talks about 6th and 12th axis. Like if we see in 6th house is about low class workers. It is also about small animals, pets, and Pisces is about water area, water feature. So Lord Rama, when he as a Vishnu, when he was going to Vanvas with his wife and brother, he had to cross a river. but he didn't have money. He was not carrying anyone money. So the Kevat, I think his name was Nishad. He was a turtle in previous lifetime, and he wanted to touch Lord Vishnu's feet, and he was like away by the Sheshnag, whenever he tried. So he took 3 lifetimes just to touch Lord Vishnu's feet. So in this lifetime he was incarnated as Kevat, So when he made them cross the river, and Lord Rama didn't have any money to give him. So Sita Ma gave their engagement ring to Lord Rama and to give it to Nishad. So Nishad said, the Kevat said that he is not going to take that ring. He will not take anything. He only want to wash his feet. That's all. So Lord Rama said, how come I can take this favor from you? I will have to carry it to another lifetime. I want to pay you, please take this. So he said, now you have come to me for help, and I'm going to help you, but when I will come to you, when I leave this world and I will come to you, that in your dham you make me cross Bhavsagar. So I am making you cross this river, then you make me cross that Bhavsagar. So there will be no favor. So basically this is telling us that what we do for others, somewhere or the other someone else does for us also. So this 612th axis teaches us or tells us that we have to do selflessly things for others, and that way when we will need help will come to us. I hope you like it. Take care and God bless you.